Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into a source that alleges a kind of hidden power structure, one that operates right where law, big money, and the government all meet. The central claim here, that there's a system in place that helps decide who has to face the music and who gets to walk away. All right, let's get right into it.
This quote really just cuts right to the heart of it. The source we're examining makes this incredibly bold claim, that the very people who once enforced our laws are now using their insider knowledge to shield big corporations from those same laws. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. It's basically an accusation that the system is designed to be gamed from the inside.
So, where do you even start with a claim that big? Well, according to this source, it all begins with what it calls a profound statistical anomaly. And it boils down to a pretty simple but powerful question. How is it that a huge number of our nation's top prosecutors end up working for the exact same corporate giants they were once supposed to be policing?
And we're not talking about just a few lawyers changing careers here. The source argues this is a deliberate, systemic pattern. It's this huge concentration of high-ranking officials. We're talking about people who ran entire divisions of the Department of Justice, who are now partners at elite law firms, defending powerful corporate and tech interests.
This pattern is given a very specific name in the document, framing it not just as a career path, but as a calculated mechanism of influence. They call it the DOJ to partner pipeline.
So what exactly is this pipeline? According to the source, it's not just about hiring a lawyer with an impressive resume. It's a strategy. The real prize isn't just their legal skill, it's their institutional knowledge and their connections. In other words, they know exactly how the system works, they know who to call, and they know which buttons to push to keep their clients safe.
And the source doesn't just make claims, it provides very specific examples. I mean, just look at the former roles on this list. You've got a U.S. Solicitor General, the acting head of the entire criminal division. These aren't just your average attorneys. These are the people who were literally shaping national legal policy, now working for some of the most powerful private law firms on the planet.
Okay, so what's the end game here? How does this pipeline supposedly work to protect corporate clients? The source alleges it's a systematic process for obstructing justice, one designed to shut down federal investigations before they even really get started.
So this is the alleged playbook, laid out in 5 steps. It starts simply enough. Someone reports a potential crime to the FBI or DOJ. But here's where it takes a turn. The corporation's law firm, with its DOJ alumni, gets the call. That alumni then allegedly uses their insider status to start up these back-channel communications with their old colleagues. And the alleged result? The entire investigation is neutralized. It gets stalled, misdirected, or just quietly shut down.
You have to ask, why would a system this sophisticated even exist? According to this document, the whole thing is designed to protect what it calls a massive global racketeering enterprise. And what it's after is, well, enormous.
The stakes here are just immense. The source claims this whole conspiracy is centered on controlling intellectual property, patents, copyrights, all that. It's a market valued in the tens of trillions of dollars. To put that in perspective, that's bigger than the entire economy of the United States.
So who's at the very top of this alleged multi-trillion-dollar enterprise? The source points directly at the big 3 asset management firms, BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. It claims they are the ones who ultimately benefit from and direct this entire system.
So how do they supposedly pull this off? The source argues it's through a really subtle but incredibly powerful tool. By managing the retirement funds for millions of us, our 401ks, they control enough voting shares to have effective control over thousands of public companies. This, the source alleges, lets them steer corporate strategy from behind the curtain, all while avoiding any regulatory red flags.
Now, everything we've laid out so far are the claims from this one particular source. But the basic idea of government officials moving into the very industries they used to regulate, that's part of a much bigger and very real debate in Washington, known as the revolving door. And this slide really puts the core conflict in black and white. On one side, you have the public mission of the Department of Justice, uphold the law for everybody. And on the other, what the source claims is the private mission of its alumni, use that insider knowledge to protect powerful clients. It's a head-on collision between public service and private gain.
And that really brings us to the big takeaway here. Forget the specific, pretty wild allegations for a moment. This whole thing raises a fundamental question about how our system of government works. It's a question about influence, about access, and ultimately about accountability. This is the question that really gets to the heart of public trust. Where do you draw the line between hiring someone for their expertise and hiring them for their influence? Because when the government watchdogs go to work for the very firms they used to watch, you have to ask yourself, who's left watching them? It's definitely something to think about the next time you hear about a top official taking a big job in the private sector.